Yeah, I'm off the phone. What you were saying now?
I said, do you hate me?
Hate you for what?
Because I said something ignorant. Do you forgive me?
About the guy being black?
Do you forgive me?
Yeah, I forgive you.
Okay.
But you're a little racist.
I don't mean to be.
Yeah.
It's just I grew up in the South, and my mom was racist, and my mom raised me. She was a single mom.
Okay.
And so some of it rubbed off.
Yeah.
But my dad didn't know a stranger, you know?
Yeah.
My dad didn't have a prejudiced bone in his body. But he didn't raise me.
But you need to know how to turn that on and off. Because, like, if I was ratchet...
That's what I need to do.
You do. Because if I was ratchet and hood, we probably would have been fighting.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm serious.
It wasn't anything like
it's still
personal. It was just, like, physical.
I know, but, like, we up here in Pennsylvania now, where there's a lot of black people. We're Philly, really. We not down south. People will want to fight you.
Really?
Yeah.
So I got to be careful.
Oh, absolutely.
Keep my mouth shut.
I just left Philly, flew in last night from my beloved hometown. And yes, it depends. West Philly probably would have got your beat. And we don't condone violence. This is so rich. This is a form of white tears, although I didn't hear any, and here's why. She turned herself into the victim. Nobody asked about your single mother. Nobody asked about your father or your family reunions. I don't even know why you're talking about that. You have a job. So you're of age. And it takes your victim, because that's what you turn us into. I ain't nobody's victim. But you perpetrated something upon this woman that was racist, and she showed restraint. Then you came to her and made your god-awful bigotry problem you dropped it in her lap a second time, okay? It's like when someone would say, oh, Sharon, will black people think this is wrong? The hell are you asking me for? Okay. Sometimes I just would kind of intimate the wrong advice. So you go out there and see what happens, what black people are going to think. Okay. That's what needs to happen. This is so pathetic. The poster says, I'm working with a Karen tonight. This black nurse then has to give her some advice, Yas. You should know when to turn it on and off. And then what does this Karen do? She says, well, I mean, it wasn't even that bad. You came hat in hand and said, do you hate me? You explain that your mother is a racist. Your father doesn't have a racist bone in his body. I don't know what you're talking about, okay? And then when the woman says, this is hot off the press, is nonsense. She says, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, really? Make it make sense. How do I keep them away from me, my desk, my area, if I'm not in the mood? I want a Karen-free zone. Ooh, that could be a product. If you could just erect a Karen-free zone. Maybe if it could be that one, I think it hurts the dogs when what's that, invisible fence? When they go to it doesn't zap them. It just gives them a sound, right? It signals them, stay inside the fence. If I could erect that and keep Karens away from me, it's not gonna hurt them, but it would signal something. I'd like to do that.
That's such a good point, though, what you're getting at. It's just like, the essence of Karenicity, especially in stories like this one, it's not, necessarily that this woman was racist, right? She was admittedly racist. She said it herself. She was raised by a racist, and so now she's a little racist, right? But it's the fact that she first of all was racist and then felt so entitled to this nurse's time and energy and said, look, I'm dealing with something, so now you also have to help me deal with what I'm dealing with, The entitlement is great. So first of all, I guess I want to give credit to this woman for acknowledging that she is a little racist, and she does understand that she is ignorant. She said that herself. She said, I said something ignorant, and she does understand that it's not okay to be that way because people will be mad at you if you are racist and ignorant, which is kind of like what we were talking about in one of our earlier stories where I said, most people understand that if you are racist or otherwise bigoted, that some people won't like you for these views that you hold. But she makes these excuses for herself. Her mother was racist. She grew up in the South, whatever. She's not just explaining why she is the way she is to this nurse, who, by the way, did not ask. She's excusing herself of culpability because she's surprised when the nurse tells her that people will rightfully take offense to her racism. Like, why is she surprised by that? Why does she think that she should be able to get away with something like being outwardly racist and vocally racist, right? She says she doesn't mean to be racist. Well, like, try harder. Try harder
Yeah.
to just not say racist things. People don't always have the time or the energy or the care to take the intention behind your words and actions into consideration when they are just trying to live their lives. And in this case, this nurse is just trying to do her job. But then she tells the nurse that her racism was nothing personal, just physical. Like, what does that mean? Since when are our bodies and people's reaction to our bodies not personal, first of all? And then isn't that kind of like the crux of racism, that people
Thank you.
treat you differently just because of your physicality, just because you're a different color than they are, just because you have different physical features? Like, since when were Black people specifically not persecuted in this country because of nothing more than their physicality? It's such an insane, and to use the woman's word, ignorant way to excuse one's own racism.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something. I think her Black coworker, explainer in chief, handled it pretty well. I have had this happen to me on a number of occasions in the newsroom. And I rather master the art of making an uncomfortable situation far more uncomfortable. And you do that, yes, by not, we have this urge to fill dead spots and just, oh yeah, and I can remember on numerous occasions where someone would come over to my desk and they just want my forgiveness or my permission to move on.
Interesting.
And I would listen and I would give a very long pregnant pause. It has to be very long, you understand? And I might say, please go sit down.
Yeah, you don't owe these people anything.
No.
Like, it's just a way to make them feel better about something that they know that they did wrong, something that they are going to do again.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And if you give them that forgiveness, or if you tell them it's fine, they won't feel bad about it. It's just about them and their own feelings. They don't want to feel guilty anymore.
Sharon's so mean. Oh, maybe. But my thought was, if you were a child, well, I've got time for you. I'll explain to you. I'll help. But an adult who gets to use the break room and get snacks out of the machine the same as I do, I don't have time for this. And even if I had all day, I'm not interested.
Please and they're not entitled to your time or your energy.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, we'll move on, shall we? You can go ahead and comment and let me know if you think that that's too mean. I did it a bunch of times, okay? And I'd have this adrenaline. I wouldn't show it in my face, but I enjoyed it. I did enjoy making people who were awkward, racist, bigoted, misogynistic even, feel uncomfortable, just like you make other people